A Moment of Respite, a Halo short story written and narrated by James Rust. Please note, this story is not canon to the Halo story as seen in the games and novels, so please don't take it as canon. Thank you. 11:3400 hours, June 2nd, 2560. Day 172. Zeta Halo. The sun beams down like a heat lamp on the area, the horizon twisting up and around in a loop. A section of the loop shattered like glass, the fragments floating in place. A seemingly endless ocean stretches from the shore up the loop to another shore. It was a peaceful moment, the air not being occupied by the cracking of gunfire and firefights. In the midst of the calm, Spartan Andrea A151 watches as two orbital drop shock troopers, or ODSTs, wrangle each other in the water. The lightweight trooper, Gunnery Sergeant Andrew Hansen, tries to tackle the bigger up-armored trooper, Lieutenant Richter Igor Kraskarov, into the water, only to be shoved forwards, Richter laughing like it's the funniest thing in the world. "You really think you can beat me?" he says in his thick Slavic accent, slightly leaning on his knees. 100 credits that I can, Hansen responds. Andrea can't help but be curious on how they're this joyful, this prideful in each other when the situation outside the calm is absolute chaos. Looking at the rising horizon, she swears she can see small explosions on the piece of land within the border of the alien installation they're trapped on. 7 months ago, the UNSC Infinity arrived at Installation 07 to take down the rogue artificial intelligence known as Cortana, but was ambushed and stranded by the Banished, being picked off by them like a pack of wolves. To tear her mind away from her questions, she reaches down to a pouch on the armor of her calf and pulls out a crumpled piece of paper. The color is a dull white, the corners of the page withering away. On the paper itself is a drawing made with crayons, which according to the Marines is a good snack, so she made a mental note to try them later. The drawing itself, albeit crude and poorly drawn, does hold what little value Andrea has. She remembers after the end of the Human Covenant War, she managed to reconnect with her father, who she thought was dead after her planet was glassed, and got to meet her half-siblings. It was jarring at first that she had more family out there, but she fell into a routine for a few weeks, her father recapping his life after they were split up, getting to know her siblings before having to leave again. She also remembers that awestruck look on the kids' faces, that their older half-sister was the fabled and legendary Spartan. The drawing was given to her right before she left with the Infinity. It hurt. She wondered if they were affected by the news that the Infinity was lost, that Zeta Halo was lost. Were they okay after the created uprising? Were they, "You got a child of your own?" Andrea looks up only to meet the green visor of a Marine holding her BR-75 loosely in her hands. She can only stare at the Marine, who starts to feel uncomfortable, but continues. "I got one at home. Just waiting patiently for his mother to return home," she says, adjusting herself on the rock she's leaning on. "You know, if you hadn't saved me back there, I might have not had the slim chance to get home. You're a godsend, Spartan. Thank you." Hearing her story, Andrea shifts slightly, her prosthetic hand holding onto the drawing tighter, the cool blue visor of her Samuel-class helmet staring at the Marine. "You're welcome." Feeling the need to repay the story the trooper told her, Andrea continues. "No, I don't have a child. It's from my sister." Although she doesn't mean it, Andrea's voice comes out as monotone. But that doesn't sway the trooper away, so she moves her sentence forward. "What did you say your name was?" "Technical Sergeant Mallory Hash, ma'am." At the thought, her visor system runs through all the databases in the UNSC archives and finds her file. Participated in both Requiem campaigns, Operation Wolf, Operation Silvertongue. All pretty harsh battles. And all for her child. She'll admit, she felt a pang of respect towards Mallory. Andrea remembers hearing about Operation Silvertongue from another Spartan, A074, and how it turned from an evacuation of Reach to a bloodbath. "What's his name?" Andrea asks, folding the drawing and delicately putting it into her calf pouch. Oh, Connor. My boy's name is Connor, Mallory responds, slightly shocked on the ongoing conversation. And your sister? Brina. You miss her? Very. I understand that feeling. After Wolf, I got to go home for a month before being stationed on the Infinity. It's been rough, worrying about his safety. Without thinking, Andrea speaks. I can understand that. Well, it's nice to see we have something in common, Mallory says, laughing softly. As much as Andrea wants to, she doesn't sift through the archives to figure out more about Mallory. She lets out a dry huff before looking at the two ODSTs as they throw each other in the water. Her gaze flickers behind them at the fractured portion of the ring. What could be happening out there? Where are the others? Where is the Infinity? Where is the Master Chief?